Event and Management Solutions, and I'm so honored to be your 2026 board president, serving with an amazing board team, and an amazing executive director. Very glad to be here. If you are on the board, and when we do our introductions, please let everybody know you're one of our board members. So, great program today. Actually, Ryan and I had this joke a couple of years ago when he first started talking AI to each other. I said, just so you know, when you're born on a farm, AI means something totally different than artificial intelligence. So, yeah, I'm like, when he said he was going to do a program on AI, I'm like, oh God, I hope we're not doing visuals. Goodness gracious. So, a very hot topic right now. I don't know if you're like me, but AI has just, I think we've been using AI forever, for a very long time, right? But it wasn't necessarily called that. And now, every time I write something, there's this mean little pencil, like, you did something wrong, you need to fix this. So it's like totally taking over everybody's lives, and I'm excited to have Ryan here today, because he's going to talk to us about how we use AI in marketing. So instead of just guessing as it is or reacting to headlines, we've got Ryan here to tell us how best to do it. Before we begin, though, I want to thank Don Mills. Where's Don?
Thank you.
Not only is he a true sweet person, he is also an amazing video guy. So thank you for all you do. Big thank you to our sustaining members that are in the room today. Without them, we really could not have this program and these great things that we do. And of course, thank you to all of you for showing up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I would hope it's going to be a sunny day, but right now it's looking a little dismal, but I'm guessing it's going to be gorgeous. So with that, I'm going to turn the program over to our Executive Director, Ty Mooney.
All right then. Good morning. Welcome in, everyone. Everyone said today's going to be a great sunny day, and I choose to believe you because really this year was kind of gloomy. All right, so today we have Ryan with a marketing and AI program. I'm so excited. As a former marketing director myself, I nerd out on this stuff, and we really can't have a better speaker than Ryan. You guys got to see him speak all last year as our president, but if this is your first opportunity to see him present on something he really loves and is an expert at, I'm so glad you're here to witness it, because it's going to be a great program. So thank you, Ryan, for being here. Before we begin today, I wanted to give a little shout out to our board of directors. It has been only a few months, and we already have 2 ad hocs launched. We have got the ball rolling on so many projects, and this board is so eager to ensure that all of you as our members get the most out of your experience with us. So to kick kind of that journey off, I want you to look at your tables. There's 2 questions listed there. Just pass it around, meet someone new at your table, and write down some ideas. We want to hear from you. What do you want to see at this podium? And what should we have our finger on the pulse of in an advocacy standpoint? So please do take a moment to fill that out and let us know. Your voice is what directs us. And so it's important that you're using it. So please do write it down. And then for all of our members who are here today, just thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being a member. It's your guys' participation and support that allows us to bring programs like this and to do the work that we do. So thank you. And for those of you who are not members yet, now's the time. So please do see me after. The QR codes at the table will take you to where the PowerPoint is to watch this slide deck or to take it home with you. But also you could use it to get to the membership application or to learn more about what that means. So please do use those too. See me after, and we're so glad that you're here. All right, and to get into this program, we are going to start with self-introduction. So as we walk around with the mic, you're going to stand up, say your name, your business, and then sit back down, pass the mic. We will start with Scott. And if you're a board member, please share so we can all admire you.
Member Wally.
Scott Kincaid, Facility Development Company, board member.
Morning, John Cregan, Santa Rosa Chief Police.
Harry Davidian, Digital Sensing and Control.
Ryan Long, Connected Outreach and board member.
Tony Tosconi, your board president.
Michaela Livingston with Sanborn Tree Service.
Ryan Leith, Lavish Automation.
And if you're a guest, leave a business card up and I'll come grab it because we're going to be handing out some beer today on a little raffle. So if you're a guest, get a business card out. If you don't have a business card, you can get any piece of paper. No cheating though, with really thick pages.
Good morning, Ryan Kelly, WSI Smart Marketing, immediate past president and board member. I want to thank Michaela and Ryan for being here as my guests, as well as Sanford Bressick. Thank you for being here. And I want to introduce Mandy Foster from WSI Smart Marketing, Chris Garcia from Redwood Credit Union, Alex Cargon, I hope I said your last name right, brother, from Healdsburg Chevrolet, Healdsburg Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. Let's see, Andrew Newsom from Edward Jones, Letitia Hankey, ARS Roofing and founder of the Lime Foundation, and Alejandra Enriquez, Lime Foundation.
Good morning, Mark Soylent, Soylent Materials, home of the new Yard and Garden store on the corner of Lama Road. Go see us.
Good morning, Nick Dexter, Liddy Dexter, and Super Service Party.
Good morning, Dick Dowd, retired past president and current member of the board of directors.
Artie Dexter, Leduc Dexter, and Super Service Club.
Judy Groverman Walker, JGW Events and Travel.
Howard Dalton, semi-retired, still doing lots of stuff.
Linda Bone, Summit State Bank.
Jen Rosario, Schools Rules Sonoma County and Sonoma County Office of Education. Good morning.
Nick Fry, Bledsoe Vineyards, and member of the board.
Matt Rhodes, PCD.
John Riddell, PCD, Audio Video System Integrators.
Kyle Bencourt, ZFA Structural Engineers.
Leif Christensen, Sonoma Clean Power. Pete Leskier, Leskier Engineers, and Northwest Chamber of Commerce.
Justin Hunter, Holly Construction.
Christina Gonzalez, Argonaut Constructors.
Annie D'Angelo, Argonaut Constructors.
Paul Donaldson, Argonaut Constructors.
Steve Hurtlebow with Friends of Smart.
Good morning, Crystal Vega with 707 Promotions.
Morning, Kevin Zuko, CFA Structural Engineers and board member, and I have a guest, Leslie Patterson, Senior Marketing Coordinator for CFA.
Andre Moran, LG and Ray's Consulting Engineer and board member of United Way of the Wine Country.
David De Los Santos with TLCD Architecture.
Alicia Clark, Marketing Manager for TLCD Architecture.
Rick Carlisle, BKF Engineers.
Kevin C., CPA.
Chuck Root, never retired, double eagle. Where cash is still king.
Morning, Aaron Smith with Adobe Associates.
Good morning, Dave Brown, Adobe Associates.
Tony Spisman, 707 Promotions.
Remember Wally Lowry?
Don Mills, Uber Brewery.
Brian Lane, real estate broker appraiser, also on the board, and also the program committee chair. On the notes that Ty brought up, if you want to talk about a potential speaker presentation, let me know.
Carmen Sinajani, Trust and Estates Attorney, and as of April 1st, I will be with Weaver Curry.
Victor McKnight, Risk Strategies.
Ryan McKnight, Risk Strategies.
Kathy Baker, Consultant, Advisor, and Coach, and a board member of the Alliance.
Good morning, Tim Schramm with Adobe Associates.
Lloyd Schaffner, Career Technical Education Foundation.
Jonathan Sotheby's International Realty.
Gary Lentz, mortgage banker, new as of this week with New American Funding.
Roy Martinez, Exit Strategies Group, and I have a guest today. This is Patty Bavuso. She is a 30-plus years Sonoma County resident and an AI transformation lead. She's looking for her next
John Laughlin, Sonoma County Office of Education.
Dan Rosacci with the Round Barn Group. And
Joe Gaffney, St. Vincent de Paul.
Lloyd Rodriguez, Stillwood, Brooklyn, Millar CPAs and Business Advisors.
Eric Whitmer, South Sonoma County Office of.
Carlos Calito, also with Sonoma County Office of Education.
Good morning, Ernest Burkhoff, broker and CEO at Burkhoff Realty and Alliance Board member.
Good morning, Tibby Durney with Community Support Network.
Good morning, my name is Ginger Sussner. I'm with Christofferson Builders, their sales and marketing manager, and I'm the guest of Katie Dulwood, who was not able to make it today.
Sam Progressive Strategies.
Morning, Paul Schwartz, corporate icon properties, commercial real estate.
Jeff Rowland, Beyond Glass.
Good morning, Ryan Bucksbaum, Next One Staffing.
Morning, Miles Safer with Signal Signs and Graphics.
Good morning, Lori Rooney, North Bay Biz Magazine.
Madeline Keegan O'Connell, YWCA, Sonoma County.
Samantha Paul Planning Consulting, for President from Northwest Area Chamber of Commerce and Board Member for the Light.
Good morning, Janet Connors, Summit State Bank, Board Member of the Alliance, and my guest this morning is Sarah Izunza, who's our Marketing Director.
More cards? Perfect. Anyone else? All right. Last call. Who wants beer at 7 a.m.? No judgment. No judgment. All right. We're going to get these cards picked. Tony, you get to be the picker. All right. Letitia, you got a winner here. And then Sarah Susanna. Brilliant. All right. Yeah, nice and cold. They're ready to pop open. Thank you, Johnson, for donating them, and congrats, guys. All right, with that, I'm going to pass the mic back over to Tony.
Thanks, Ty. You know, when we were doing the introductions, I was just thinking there's so many second gens or next gens or whatever you want to call it. It's so great that we have the continuation of families and things in Sonoma County, which makes us so very special in the world. So our presenter today is Ryan Kelly. As you heard earlier, he's your past board president, and I'm sure you all know him if you haven't been, if you're not one of our newer members. Ryan is founding partner and the chief executive officer of WSI Smart Marketing, an award-winning digital marketing agency recognized internationally, nationally, and locally for innovation and impact. With over 20 years of experience, Ryan is a leading digital marketing strategist and an international keynote speaker, an AI-driven growth expert. He is the creator of the hit series SCO for On the Go and his new series AI on the Fly. I am sure he came up with these names. I'm absolutely sure of that. So nerdy. You are nerdy. We love our nerdy stuff. He also is a published author, and he's a mentor to marketing agency owners worldwide. Known for his heart and his hustle, Ryan blends strategic leadership with business advocacy and deep community involvement. He's also a devoted husband, father, and lifelong car enthusiast, but this man is just a life enthusiast. I'll tell you, I don't even know if he does caffeine. If he does, he needs to stop. But he is a great guy, great energy, wonderful to have in the room. So Ryan, come on up.
Good morning. All right, so there's a couple of things that I want to go ahead and lead with. Number one, I am not an AI solution architect. I'm a nerdy marketing guy that by nature of what I do every day, all day for a living, know a ridiculous amount about AI. Secondly, I have grown up my whole life with my mom telling me, Ryan, you speak too fast, slow down. I'm at the age now where I'm almost 50 where I can say this is just how I'm made, which means listen fast, all right? So we have a lot to go through today. It's kind of a hodgepodge. Think of it a bit like a progressive dinner. We're gonna start with who we are, and that's who we are. I want you to know what my company does do. We're gonna have some polls. We're gonna talk a little bit about AI, the impact it's having on small, medium, and large businesses, the job market. We're going to cover 5 sectors of Sonoma County, what AI is doing with that. We're going to cover a little bit of policy and regulation, and we're going to cover the online search shift, which is a real thing that's happening. We're going to talk about a phenomenon called zero click-through. And then we're going to talk about how to integrate AI into our businesses from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom, and how to collaboratively do that together. So WSI is actually the world's largest digital marketing network of agencies. Right now there's about 900 WSI agencies in 87 countries. WSI stands for We Simplify the Internet, if you're wondering. Right now our agency, the one that Mandy and I run together here in Santa Rosa, is currently the 4th largest in America and the 6th largest in the world within that network. And we have teams in 4 different countries. What do? So we do search. We help people's organizations get found online. When people are looking for them at the right time to solve a problem, we make sure that their brands are found. We work with their social media. We make sure that it's predictable, accurate, and culturally relevant. We buy ad placement and make sure that our clients' organizations are found where they're supposed to be no matter what the cost. And we do a lot more than that, but I'm not trying to sell you anything. I want you to know what we do so that at the end when you ask me questions and I say, I don't know, now you know why. Okay. So let's do some polls to kind of kick this off. Let's start with how frequently are you using AI? If you're not using it at all, this is where you get to be brave and fearless because that means that you're probably going to learn the most today. So if that's you, be fearless and raise your hand. Anybody not using AI yet? Oh, I love it. That's 2 people, guys. I did this a year ago. It was like 25% of the room. We're going to talk about adoption rate in a minute. What if you're using it weekly? Put your hand up. What if you're using it every day? Put your hand up. Check this out. If you feel like you can't live without it already, put your hand up. Look around, people. This is wild what's happening in our world. So as we talk about adoption rates, let's look at what's happening. We see Netflix was adopted 3.5 years for 1 million users. Instagram was 2.5 months to find its first million users, and ChatGPT took 5 days. I heard a wow, and yeah, I echo that, wow. What about 100 million users? Instagram took 30 months to get to 100 million. Spotify took 55 months, and ChatGPT took only 2 months. Let that sink in. So here's what we think about when we think about how AI is kind of changing the world. Can you believe it's already been over 3 years? It's already been 3 years since AI kind of hit the market. But here's the deal, that's generative AI. Generative, by definition, means to create or to make, to mold or to develop something. But we've had AI for years, even decades. We've had things like Netflix, where it was telling us what movies or shows we might like to watch based on what we are already watching. Spotify telling us what kind of music that we might want to listen to based on our choices online. Instagram serving us ads specifically based on our user behaviors and other ads we've clicked on or pages that we've seen. And even Waze routing us around traffic that hasn't happened yet. We were already using AI in our daily lives. The difference 3 years ago was that generative AI took the scene. So let's talk about what that really means. There's 2, I like to sound smart, so I quote really smart people. Bill Gates said AI is the most revolutionary technology in decades. It's as fundamental as the invention of the microchip and the internet. So let's take another poll. Who here has their phone with them? Yeah, who here uses the internet on their phone? Yeah, exactly, guys. Bill Gates is saying this is as important as that. And Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Alphabet and Google, said AI is one of the most important things humanity is working on. It could be more profound than electricity or fire. I'm going to put a little spin on this, and if you're wondering kind of which way I lean for regulation, I'll tip my hat right now. You know, electricity powers our house, powers our phones, our microchips. Fire warms our house and gives us somewhere comfortable to live, and it warms and heats our food that nourishes our body. But fire, unregulated, can burn our house to the ground. I think I tip my hat to what I think about policy and regulation. So let's talk about the impact that this is having on small, medium, and large businesses, okay? So when we look at small businesses, and I'm talking about your small local businesses, 58% of businesses are now using generative AI, which in 2023, I'm sorry the microphone keeps cutting out, guys. I'm not moving my hands or anything. In 2023, only 23% were using that. So that means that in the past couple of years, it has doubled in the adoption rate. And 82% of those using AI increased their workforce in the past 12 months. So we can kind of, you know, remember that old show Mythbusters that we all used to love? We can bust this myth that AI was going to replace all the jobs and that businesses were going to lay off people and have better direct labor lines on their P&Ls. It appears that 82% of businesses using AI are actually hiring more people. It's leading to improved sales and marketing results with top AI uses including data analysis, marketing content creation, emails and web content summaries, less chaos with more control for small businesses, helping with analytics and automation, repetitive tasks such as scheduling, email sorting, and meeting summaries. And I'll just give you a real quick, like if you're a small business or if you're an independent salesperson or something, maybe, have you guys ever heard that slogan or that line, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Sometimes when people ask me, Ryan, how do I get started in AI? The first bite is, well, why don't you do some meeting transcripts? Download a tool called fireflies.ai on your phone, and when you sit down in a meeting, open up that app and hit record. And then later on that day, you can take that transcript, you can put it in any kind of answer engine and ask it anything you want about that conversation. And it will tell you, this is what he or she said, this is what they meant, this is your takeaways, this is what their homework assignments were. Sometimes that's a really easy way to kind of start to see what AI is or what it does. But you know, the way that small, medium, and large businesses leverage AI is different, right? Because when you're a small business, you have limited resources, limited human capacity, limited finances. When you're a medium-sized business, you've got a little bit more of both of those. And when you're a large-scale business, you have a lot of those. So medium-sized businesses are using it to scale with growth and have more strategic investments. Automating back-office tasks like payroll scheduling, inventory management. It frees up leadership to focus on things that the leadership team should really be focusing on. It's unlocking hyper-personalized customer relationships. It's personalizing experiences, which boosts loyalty and repeat business. It's balancing, medium-sized businesses are doing a better job at sort of balancing the human and AI interaction, where AI works best as co-pilot. Imagine, if you will, that there's this cycle, this circle, and in the very top of it is a human in this loop. And the human starts this generative AI, this thing they're trying to accomplish, and the AI does what it does. A human still has to come in at the end of that loop to make sure that it's accurate, that it's correct, that it was done well. The human can't disappear. AI can't do it alone. And how it's impacting big businesses, you know, I don't know about you guys. So I own and operate a business that's very technical. We have a big tech stack. We have on our profit and loss, we have a tech stack line, and every month when I see it, I'm like, dang. And when AI came out, I got excited that maybe it was going to replace some of the tools that I use. You know, when AI came out, it talked about having the democratization of AI for the world. And by definition, democratization means to make it free for everybody and accessible for everybody. Now, they did make it accessible for everybody, but they didn't necessarily make the best parts of AI free for everybody. Okay? What ended up happening was, instead of AI being able to replace Microsoft adopted AI and charged us more. So now Microsoft can do more. The tech stacks have actually gotten more expensive. So when you look at what that means, AI isn't replacing enterprise software. Gartner is forecasting the total global AI spend to reach $2.52 trillion this year, which is a 44% increase over last year. Talk about a boom. The way that it's impacting large businesses with workforce strategy and responsible integration, is transparent communication around AI adoption improves employee trust. And that leads into the next bullet point, which is industry leadership and AI governance. Large companies like JP Morgan, UPS, Walmart, one of my favorite brands, BMW, and IKEA are actually building roadmaps on how they're going to leverage AI in the future. They're going to build guardrails and understand with their teams what they're using AI for and how they feel about it. What is appropriate and what is not appropriate. So let's talk a little bit, see, it's like a progressive dinner. We're moving on to the next house now, okay? So when we talk about how AI impacts jobs negatively, it's really interesting. There is a job displacement with automation, which means that businesses and employees or team members that do routine tasks, that do rinse and repeat style work, are probably most at risk. And I'm going to cover what some of those industry sectors are in just a minute. It's leading to a skill gap with worker obsolescence, which means it's creating sort of a divide between AI fluent workers and non-AI fluent adopters. Right? I don't know about you guys, but when I'm doing interviews now, well, not me, when Mandy's doing interviews, we are assessing how AI fluent people are. What tools are they using? How knowledgeable are they at solving our problems? And maybe solving problems we didn't even know we had that they could solve and make our business more efficient or smarter or serve our clients better. So all of a sudden, AI affluence matters, and that's creating sort of a polarization in the labor market where there's this sort of new income inequality, where those able to work with AI are thriving, and those that are not risk stagnation. And then it also impacts jobs negatively because of the ethical and psychological social risks. People on your team might have fear of job loss, right? They might have workplace anxiety, lower morale, disengagement. You guys remember a few years ago how quiet quitting was like such a big thing? That's still happening, but now this is part of that. So let's talk a little bit about occupational transitions through 2030. When we look at the growth trajectories and hidden declining, we'll talk about the resilient and growing in just a minute. Hidden declining occupations like office support, customer service and sales, production work, food services. And that trajection, that negative trajection, that 10% decrease in occupational transition nationally is being led by automation adoption, sustained e-commerce trend. You know, the pandemic really solidified a lot of us shopping more online than locally, which I think is very sad, but at the same time, that's just the world that we live in right now. It's also reduced a need for customer-facing roles. I love do-it-yourself projects. I love getting my hands dirty at home. And you know what I hate? I hate going to Home Depot now where there's no checkout stands. All of a sudden, they've got one person in 10 self-checkout stands, and now I'm just, where's the love? Where's the Home Depot people saying thanks for your business and what questions? Did you find everything you needed? That's gone. That's the negative side. But I'm more of a glass half full kind of guy. So when we look at how it's impacting jobs positively, we're seeing jobs created in new fields. I'm going to give you a staggering statistic in a few minutes about how many thousands of jobs have been offered in AI in California. How many jobs have been offered in AI in California in the past 24 months in just a minute. But AI is fueling new roles. It's fueling new job descriptions. It's creating productivity and efficiency gains. AI is automating repetitive tasks. It's collaborating, and here's my daughter Abigail is going to school to be a radiology technician. And I thought this was kind of an interesting way to show human-AI collaboration. Healthcare workers are leveraging AI to diagnose faster and spend more time with their patients. Who doesn't want a faster diagnosis, a more accurate diagnosis, and more time with their doctor? Right? Talk about a positive outcome from technology. Upskilling and career growth is a positive impact. Workers who adopt AI skills are seeing a higher demand and a higher earning potential. So let's talk about what industries are sort of thriving, or what I call resilient and growing occupations in America. Health professionals are growing. Health aides, technicians, and wellness. STEM professionals, transportation and warehousing. Managers, AI can't replace managers. Business and legal professionals. I know you guys want to think that AI is like having a lawyer. It can give you information, but it is not the same thing as a lawyer. It is definitely not a doctor either. And the growth trajectory is driven here by healthcare demand on increased population as it's aging, the push towards digitization and technology, which we're seeing in every sector in America, and demand for the last mile delivery. And here's what that means. What's last mile delivery? You guys remember the days where we would shop on Amazon and online and we cared more about price than anything else? Where can we get this for the best price? Now it's where can we get this for the best price and how fast can we get it? And sometimes we're willing to pay a little bit more if we can get it faster. That, my friends, is last mile delivery, and that is what's beginning to take over a huge buying decision online. Okay, we're going to talk about 5 sectors of Sonoma County and how AI is impacting these different sectors. The first one we're going to cover is agriculture and wine. AI is offering precision irrigation and water management, and the positive impact from the tools that are used to create this outcome are lowering water costs, increasing sustainability and compliance, improving grade consistency, and is creating a stronger environmental stewardship for messaging. It's also offering early disease and pest detection, which is giving us reduced chemical use. I don't know about you guys, but I love the idea of reduced chemicals. Lower labor costs, faster response times, and healthier vines. We're seeing yield forecasting and supply planning positively impacted, and we're getting better contract negotiations, reduced overproduction risk, improved cash flow predictability, and more accurate staffing decisions. And we're going to hear that, kind of more accurate staffing decisions in lots of these different categories. We're seeing direct-to-consumer personalization. The positive impact of being able to market to people better with messaging that impacts them stronger and creates more engagement are things like, and we all know what condition the wine industry is in right now with the generation that's coming in and how it's adapting our region. But we need higher wine club retention, increased average order value, better visitor experiences, and stronger lifetime customer values. So the big picture here, guys, is that AI is not replacing vineyard managers, cellar masters, farm workers, field crews, tasting and room staff, but it is reducing manual labor and guesswork. It's extending precision and sustainability planning. It's supporting better crop health and quality control, and it's making limited resources more effective. Let's talk a little bit about the aging population in our healthcare world. We're seeing reduced administrative burden on providers, which if we can reduce the administrative burden on our doctors, on our administrators, on our offices, on our hospitals, we can see the positive impacts like doctors spending more time with us. We can see less burnout, faster documentation turnaround, improved practice efficiency. You know, when you go see some of these smaller doctors' offices, these are small businesses that are trying to be profitable and serve their patients well. And they need these kinds of tools to compete with the larger hospitals and larger businesses that can do that more at scale. We're seeing expanded telehealth for rural and aging residents, and the positive impacts of this would be more seniors aging in place, and I have parents that are now beginning to age, and I would love to see them age in place. Honestly, I'd love to see them age at my place, but I'm trying to figure that out right now. Fewer unnecessary ER visits, earlier intervention for chronic conditions, and reduced caregiver stress. What about predictive care for chronic conditions? We're seeing AI reduce hospital readmissions, offering better long-term health outcomes, lower healthcare costs. You guys, I don't know about you, but with the healthcare increases that we took on as a company, and it's a big deal. Healthcare costs are a big deal for small and medium-sized businesses right now that care about taking good care of their teams. So I love the idea that can AI really help lower some of those costs and offer better healthcare and make working for us seem more attractive because we have a great coverage or a great plan. More proactive care versus reactive care. We have improving diagnostic accuracy, not just speed, but the accuracy. We're seeing faster diagnosis, increased accuracy for diagnosis, improved survival rates, and reduced diagnostic errors. And when it comes to our health and when it comes to our life, I think we can all agree that those are all positive outcomes. So the big picture on our second category is that AI is not replacing doctors, nurses, or caregivers, but it is reducing paperwork, extending care access, supporting aging in place, and improving diagnostic speed. I do caffeine. Okay, let's talk about construction and housing. We need to figure out in construction and in housing, you guys, we all have a housing problem. We know that the county and California at large is pushing low income and multi-property complex stuff like that. We need to see faster and smarter cost estimation that can lead to more competitive bids, better margin protection, and reduced financial risk with faster homeowner decision making. We need to figure out how to build better, how to build smarter, how to protect our margins, and how to do the right things with construction. We can see AI affecting streamlining permitting and compliance because I'm not going to get too nerdy here, guys, but it is not hard to build a custom GPT. And a GPT is, well, GPT stands for Generative Pre-Transformer, but that's just too nerdy. I shouldn't have even said that on the microphone. But it means that you can go in and tell ChatGPT, I want you to build me a tool that's going to check this. For these kind of permitting. Here's the website to go to. Here's all the permitting documentation. Here's the zoning documentation. Here's an upload of all the information that I would need to know to make sure that whatever I'm submitting adheres to what I should be submitting. Can you now audit and look at my information and give me feedback? And it will do that. And it will identify those things. And when that happens, and when companies and home contractors are using these things for permitting and compliance, they're seeing fewer submission errors, faster approval times, reduced administrative back and forths, and lower holding costs for developers with large projects. Project scheduling and labor optimization, again, back with the direct labor optimization. We're seeing shorter build times, reduced downtime, more efficient use of limited labor, increased project predictability. When you're running a business, don't you love words like reduced, and words like increased, and words like predictability? Like, these are the kinds of things that if you're running a business, you should care deeply about, that have meaningful impact on your business. So housing market analysis for smarter planning. When you're using AI tools that do that, by the way, I am going to have Ty send out this presentation when she decides to, but I'll give it to her today. And in that presentation, in all of these slides, it actually has the how AI is being used that produce these AI outcomes. So you'll be able to actually, there was no way I could fit it in the time that I had today. So in the presentation that you get sent, it'll have all of this is how it's doing it, and these are the positive impacts from it. I'm only giving you the positive impacts from it on stage. So when it comes to housing market analysis and smarter planning, we're seeing better aligned development decisions, reduced speculative risk, improved affordability planning, and more strategic infill development. And here's sort of the big picture when it comes to construction and housing. It's not replacing electricians, framers, or tradespeople, but it is reshaping administrative roles, estimating workflows, planning processes, and risk management. We've only got 2 more parts of our progressive dinner here. We're on the main course and then dessert. We've got tourism and hospitality and then retail. So when it comes to AI, we're seeing how AI is creating smarter demand forecasting and revenue optimization for tourism. And we are a community that does have a lot of tourism. And the positive impact with the AI tools and how AI is impacting Sonoma County can create and is creating higher occupancy rates, improved revenue per available room, better staffing planning, and reduced volatility during shoulder seasons. We're seeing personalized visitor experiences because AI is able to understand and read through all of your data, your analysis, all of the ways that people have purchased, where they came in from, how long they stayed with you, the places they went to. It can audit that data and create profiles and understand what people care deeply about. And it can have positive impacts like higher average spend per visit, better wine club conversions, increased repeat visits, and stronger loyalty to your brand. In the tourism and hospitality, we're seeing AI-powered marketing and digital visibility emerge. We're seeing increased direct bookings, reduced online travel agency dependency, which is a big deal, stronger brand visibility, and more efficient marketing budgets. If you're an organization and you care deeply about being found, being seen, and finding new clients, then you care deeply about every dollar in your budget and how far it stretches. AI can help with that. It can not only help spend it more wisely, it can help get you more from it. We're seeing operational efficiency and labor optimization. Labor optimization is in like all of these. So if you're running a business or an organization and you care about your labor and you're trying to figure out, do I have the right amount of people? Are they doing the right thing? Are they in the right places? Is my scheduling appropriate? AI can help with all of that. And the positive impacts that we're seeing are lower operating costs, reduced overtime, less waste, better guest experiences. And the big picture here is that AI is not replacing servers, hospitality staff, winemakers, and tour guides, but it is improving pricing strategy, marketing precision, guest personalization, and operational efficiency. All right, let's touch on retail, and then we'll get into some of the stuff that I get really excited about. All this other stuff is so boring to me. Let's talk about retail and smarter inventory management. With retail, AI tools can plug oftentimes directly into your CRM, to your point of sale system. A lot of times we get nervous when the system or the technology that we already use says, we have this new AI part of our system and it's this extra money. That was a few slides ago when I talked about the $2.5 trillion spend in tech stack, 44% year-over-year growth. If you have an enterprise technology that you use in your business and it's now offering AI tools, even if it comes at a cost, it would behoove of you to learn what that is, how it works, and what it can do for your business. Do not be scared of it. So when we talk about smarter inventory management, the positive impacts are things like improved cash flow, reduced storage costs, less markdown loss, higher sell-through rates. We're seeing personalized customer marketing. So we're not just talking about how we can personalize messaging and personalize ads. We're talking about how do we create better automations? How do we find people in the right place at the right time when they have one hand on their wallet and the other hand on their phone? We're seeing higher repeat purchase rates, higher average order values, stronger customer loyalty, and better engagement with local shoppers. If you have a local retail business and you want to figure out how to compete with Amazon online, oftentimes it's hyper-personalized service, and it's how do you take care of the people coming in and provide them what they want more. Workforce efficiency in a tight labor market. When you're using AI tools that help solve those problems, you're seeing reduced labor waste, shorter wait times, lower overtime costs, and better employee satisfaction. Okay, we have real-time reputation and sentiment monitoring. You know, one of my favorite things to do, this is so silly, but it's this easy. Go to Google, find your business, go to the Google reviews, take your mouse, and select and draw down and just copy all of the reviews that are in there. Go to ChatGPT and type in there, what is the customer sentiment of my business? Where are we winning and where are we losing? What direct recommendations might you have for us to serve our clients better? And is there anybody on my team that should be celebrated? Hit paste and then hit go. And ChatGPT will give you the most amazing quick audit of the sentiment of your business. And when you start to pay attention to things like that, and you start to take that, what used to be a 5 to 10 hour project to read all those reviews and make notes and look for commonalities, patterns, and trends, now took you literally 3 minutes. And then you can spend the next couple hours developing what you're going to do about it. That can create faster service recovery, improved ratings, stronger word-of-mouth referral business, and higher local trust. So the big picture here, ladies and gentlemen, is that AI is not replacing sales associates, store owners, and boutique managers, but it is improving inventory precision, customer targeting, operational efficiency, online competitiveness, and margin stability. All right, this is also not the part that I'm super excited about because policy is so exciting. Let's talk about the policy puzzle, guys. California is the global epicenter of AI. We have OpenAI, Anthropic, NVIDIA, Google DeepMind, Meta AI. We have the largest AI companies in the world are in California. In fact, 60% of global AI funding, 126 billion of the 211 billion is invested in our state. And here's that staggering fact, guys. In the past 2 years, there's been 100,000 new job listings for AI-driven positions. So if you're wondering if this is a fad, if you're wondering where growth is, if you have kids in college or that you're raising and you're trying to figure out how to get them in a recession-proof or an economy-strong kind of career, AI is a very attractive industry. So the implication here is that policy decisions made in California will shape global AI rules and regulations. The world is watching California. There are 3 legislative policies that have come out recently that I thought I would cover. And again, I am very pro-regulation, I'm very pro-policy. We have SB 53, which means that large AI developers and companies building AI must publicly disclose their safety practices. Which means they have to promote safer, or it means that this is promoting safer development for AI. It's increasing transparency and accountability, which there was none of like a year and a half ago. It strengthens whistleblower protections, positions California as a policy leader, and encourages evidence-based regulation. We have AB 489, which means that AI cannot falsely imply a licensed medical professional. I recently spoke for the Sonoma Lake Mendocino County Medical Association, and I spoke a lot about AI companions and chatbots. And it's interesting when you think about what an AI companion is. An AI companion is almost like a chatbot that you can go in and talk to with voice, voice to voice, or with text, text to text. And it offers you advice, it creates companionship, it helps with loneliness. It's wonderful in many ways for people that struggle with depression. There's a lot of opportunity behind AI Companion, but it can't pretend like it's a licensed medical practitioner. It was. So AB 489 says you can't do that. It has to say to you, I'm not a licensed professional, but that, I can help in these ways. It strengthens trust in digital health tools. It encourages transparent AI design. It expands enforcement powers of licensing boards, and it signals leadership in the AI healthcare governance in California, which I love. And then the last one is the SB 243, which is more about not the AI companion, but AI chatbots as a whole must clearly disclose that they are artificial intelligence. They have to disclose that they are AI, that they are not a human. Which I think is great, because have you guys seen any of those where you're like, is this a real person? Like, is this a real person here? I mean, they're that good, which is kind of creepy, but also cool. So it protects vulnerable users, especially minors, and there's been stories, guys, that we've heard on the news about what AI chatbots have told kids to do, and you're like, what in the world? How do we stop that? This is what that's meant to start trying to mitigate. It encourages transparent chatbot design. They can't just design something and launch it. They have to design something and run it past the government to make sure that it's transparent and approved. Mandates safety protocols for mental health risks, promotes data and accountability for reporting, and its private enforcement empowers users, because we are all more protected. Okay, now this is the part that I get excited about, because this is just, I don't know, this is what I like. I'm a marketing nerd, right? My life's goal is to help organizations grow. In fact, this isn't like official, but if someone says, Ryan, what does WSI do? I would say we leverage the power of the internet to create wealth for organizations. We leverage the power of the internet to create wealth for organizations. And the way that we've done that has drastically had to change with AI suddenly hitting the scene. So it used to be that on a Google results page, it was paid search at the top where you're buying some clicks, and then it was the Google map, with those, they called it the Google 3-pack, but let's not lie about it. There was oftentimes 4 or 5 listings. I don't know why they called it the 3-pack. And then it was more organic listings underneath. But now when we look at how that result page has drastically changed, now suddenly there's paid search ads at the top. And then there's the AI overview. Google's response to fighting ChatGPT. It's like an arms race for search right now online. And then under that, we've got paid search, and then we've got AI overviews, and then we've got the Google 3, 4, or 5 pack, whatever it decides to serve us. And then we've got this people also ask, and then this related products part, and then we've got more organic listings, and then we've got more paid search, and suddenly Google's result page has drastically changed. And we'll come back to that in a minute. That's an evolution of search online from decades of the way that we've done business. Think of it like this. And in fact, I'll come back to that. Third-party answer engines are now a huge hit. And a third-party answer engine is ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Google Gemini. So now think of it like this. Let's say that we have two librarians. We have this librarian over here called Google that we've gone to for years. And we've said things like, who's the best roofing company in Sonoma County? And Google is our librarian for years, for decades, has said, thanks for asking, here's our aisle of the library, our search result page, where it has all your websites, your reviews, your local listings, your webinars, podcasts, white papers, press releases. Here's all the books for you to go research and make your own final decision from. And we were like, this is the coolest thing ever, thanks. Now we have this other librarian where we go over there and we say things like, who's the best roofing company in Santa Rosa and why? We add context. We're changing the way that we search. We're not just typing in roof repair near me. We're changing the way we ask questions. We're adding context. We're changing, we're adding semantic words like if, the, but, or. We're creating sentences. Who is the best roofing company in Santa Rosa and why? And has a 10% off coupon for new customers on their website. And has a 5-star rating and is within 5 miles of my home. Right? Search is changing. And answer engines like a librarian are now saying, geez, Ryan, thanks for asking. We've read every website, we've read every blog, we've looked at all the local listings, we've read every review site, we've watched every webinar, listened to every podcast, read every white paper, read every press release. And the answer to your question is this. The way that people search online for organizations is drastically changing, and it's creating this thing, this new phenomenon called zero click-through, where organizations are beginning to see less traffic to their websites because we're getting our answers directly from the top of Google and from other third-party answer engines. So now the question becomes, how do we make sure that we're in the right place at the right time when that happens? It used to be, how do we drive traffic to our website? Now it's, how do we stay as the cited source, the authority within that search? And here's the interesting thing, guys. Unfortunately for all of us, websites are still the #1 place to put all of our content, because guess where AI and Google still crawl all of its content from? Right. It's like a cycle of doom. Okay, so here's the answer. The answer used to be search engine optimization, making your website come up dominantly on Google and Yahoo and Bing. But that has drastically changed and is now search everywhere optimization. Because AI cares about the technical search optimization in your website. Is it fast? Is the code strong? Are the links active? Is everything working the way that it should? Is it safe? Does it have a firewall? All those kinds of things. It cares about whether or not you have AI optimization in your code. Have you made it easy for large language models to read your website? It cares about your content marketing. Here's a free tip. EEAT. If everything you put on social media, if all of the blogs that you write in your website, all of the content you add to your web pages have experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, you're writing for humans and you're writing for AI. Because AI cares deeply about the EEAT platform. So adapt your content marketing. Think of it as answering people's questions in real time. AI also reads all of your social media. AI also reads all of your social media. It reads all of your posts, all of your communications, all of your conversations, all of your calls to actions. It reads everything that you post. It sees your pictures. It knows what your pictures are. It also reads your reputation. So if you didn't care about your reputation before, you probably really should now. And a classic line I like to say when I ask people to help build our online reputation is I say, listen, Ty, thank you for all your compliments on my product, my service, my consult, whatever it might be. Is there any way that you'd be interested in going to leave a nice review to help our online reputation match our offline reputation? And oftentimes people will say, yeah, sure. Care about your reputation. Search engine marketing. Are you buying ads? Are you buying placement? Are you a tree service like Sanborn and Michaela over here? Are you a tree service that when there's a storm a-brewing and you know trees are about to fall, do you have an ad campaign or a group you can turn on at the right time so that those ads come up right when that storm is about to hit? Google reads those ads. It understands what you're saying, when you're saying it, and who you serve. So making sure that your messaging is sort of like a flywheel. You have this flywheel that has your website, your content marketing, your social media, your reputation, all of these ads, and everything is spinning in a circle with your goal in the middle that's all carrying the same message of who you serve, how you serve, and what you do. And then chatbots. It's really interesting. We just finally launched our first chatbot. It took us like 6 months because it was a lot to do. But what I realized was we had to create all of the conversations and upload it into this chatbot to teach it how we wanted it to answer our customers and prospects online. Guess what AI sees behind the scenes? It sees how we program that chatbot and all the conversations and all the questions that we had to answer in depth, all before anyone even has to ask it. So, having this search everywhere optimization is sort of the future of online marketing now, which I find really interesting. All right, our last section here, and then we're gonna hopefully open it up for questions in about 5 or 10 minutes here. And if you don't have any questions, great. If you do, I don't know everything, but I'll do my best. So how should businesses approach AI from the bottom up? First of all, empowerment and ownership. Employees closest to your daily operations have the most value. You guys, our boots on the ground are the people that are able to see the problems the clearest, that struggle the most. We need to empower them and give them ownership to experiment, right? To encourage a trial and error method, because learning from failure should be a valued success. Now, I'm not saying open the floodgates and get dangerous and give them free reign to do whatever they want. But if you have your employees that are coming to you saying that, I think that maybe there's this tool that might make this thing better, or that could solve this problem, or make us more efficient, or make my job better, empower them and allow experimentation. And also offer on-the-job learning. Hands-on experience enhances skills and adapts expertise. So we as an organization have something called AI Campus, which is something we sell to medium to large organizations, where we pull teams in and we teach you guys sort of how to use AI, where it came from, what tools you should be using. We even do cornerstone projects to solve a real problem in the business. What are you doing to invest in that in your business? How are you empowering from the bottom up your organization to learn about AI? So how businesses should approach AI from the top down. First of all, somebody has to have strategic vision and budgeting. If you think about what we budget for, and you think about the vision that we have as CEOs and executive directors and decision makers, we invest a lot in our business, in our tech stack, our tools, and our training. Has AI hit your radar yet? So leadership defines AI goals, aligns them, funds them appropriately. We should be establishing AI principles and policies and setting ethical guidelines, data standards, and rules for responsible AI use. In fact, I recently just tasked Mandy, my HR and accounting division director, our marketing director, and my COO with getting me a list of everywhere that we use AI, how we use it, and what it's doing. Because I want to understand how we're using it, make sure that we're ethically using it in a way that our company should be. Who's watching that? We should be setting parameters and guardrails and creating clear boundaries that manage risk while encouraging innovation and supportive learning environments. Like I said, providing training, resources, and space for teams to build their AI skills. You know, knowledge has never been more scalable ever in the history of man than it is right now. Are you using it the way you should be? So when we add those two things together from the bottom up and the top down, we get collaborative strategy, leveraging the strengths of both approaches for balanced, effective AI adoption. We're seeing cross-functional teams encouraging communications and idea sharing between departments. It's so fun to me to hear how our creative division, one of our creative coordinators in our social media division, is trying things and then sharing them with our marketing division and sharing how they're winning and losing and what's working and what's not working. And that interdivisional communication is growing our expertise, our efficiency, and our skill. Gotta let them talk to each other. Sometimes you need to facilitate those conversations and be purposeful about those conversations. Blending top-down guidance with bottom-up insights. And then having adaptive framework, allowing the organizations to remain flexible, adjusting strategies as new learnings and challenges emerge in the AI landscape. So I guess the question is, how adaptable are you right now as an organization with AI? How flexible have you become? What focus have you given it? Are you seeing the benefit, the efficiency gains, the skill gap closures? Have you moved this into your hiring and understood what AI affluence can do for your business when you're looking for the next people to come work with your organization? So Charles Darwin once said, "It is not the strongest of species that survive, thank God, nor the most intelligent, thank God, but the one most responsive to change." So I challenge you guys to be flexible, be adaptable, and to really give AI the credit and the value that I think it could bring to your business. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. We're gonna open up some questions here. Burning ones, if not, I got it here. So.
Thanks, that was a great presentation, Ryan. I'm just curious, how did you personally learn how to use AI and kind of the methods you use to adopt it into your professional life?
Yeah, honestly, I got really scared of what AI could do to my agency. I wondered if I was going to be replaced. Let's be honest. I was at a global conference in, I want to say, the Dominican Republic, and there was a keynote speaker there that was talking about how AI was essentially going to replace marketing agencies. Thank God he was wrong. But what I realized early on was I can either stagnate and sit there and wait for it to affect me, or I can learn as much about it as quickly as possible to figure out how to adapt and survive. And I did the latter. And I looked for the ways I could be most helpful to my clients. I looked for ways I could be most helpful to my team. And I just started taking little bites at a time. And the trick really was slow adoption, but adoption, right? If you go too big, too hard into AI, it's too big, it's too fast, it's too confusing. The trick is pick a cornerstone project. You know, when I teach how to do use studies, how to identify where you should start using AI in your business, there's characteristics that allow you to do it. Number one, is it repetitive? Is it something that you do all the time? Every month I've got to do this thing. If I do this, and I do it this way, it provides me this report, and then I analyze this report to learn this thing. What is it that you're doing in your business that's repetitive, predictable, and generating an outcome? And if you can identify what that little thing is, that one thing is, then you have a starting point to do a use study. And you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to now go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to tell it, this is what I do, this is how I do it, and I need you to do this for me. And there's other tools out there. You can even say, this is what I want to have done. What's the best AI tool on the market that can do this for me? But you use AI kind of like you would Albert Einstein, who knows everything. It's, you know, ChatGPT has an IQ of, I want to say, 155, and Albert Einstein had an IQ of 160. Okay? So it's almost like we all have Albert Einstein sitting there on our cell phones and in our laptops. So I would use ChatGPT to identify a use study. I would say to it, this is something I do every month. Can you help me figure out a process to do it for me? And it will literally help you create the process, have AI do it for you. And then you use that use study, you test through it, you keep testing it until it's providing you the result that you're looking for, and then you save it as your own custom GPT. And if you don't know how to do that, guess what can tell you? Okay. Brian, did that somewhat answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I was just curious, did you take classes or were you just kind of in there playing with it?
Yeah, I was in there playing with it a lot, and I feel really blessed that I have such a great team that I can have that kind of time to go and spend that time doing that. But you know, one of my biggest roles in the organization is innovation of our product line. So for me, making sure that what we're doing is working, and that was a big part of what we need to pivot into. So that was a big ask for me for the last couple of years, was learning this stuff and adapting our product line to it.
So, Ryan, you're moving me from cautiously skeptical toward cautiously optimistic. So, the question I posed to you before the meeting here was one of those. You started nudging me before your presentation here. In civil engineering, every project we do is pretty much a prototype, as my associates here in the same business probably understand. Every site has its unique thing, every client is unique. So I was researching water rights law the other day, looking for some definitions of some of their key terminology.
Legal,
yeah. And I got this thing back that looked pretty credible, and then it gave me 3 references, one of which was the law itself, an attachment. So I opened up that attachment, and so the response from Copilot was, oh, there are no concise definitions in the law. Yeah, so I opened up one of the references it gave me, which was the law, and lo and behold, like any good piece of code, or public, municipal code, there was a section on definitions. And so I have yet, maybe this weekend, to get back and say, hey, by the way, you screwed up, there is a definition. So, but your response was very instructive. And
okay, yep, here we go on the microphone. Here's the response. Your prompting, it's like anything else, man. The better prompting you put in, the better the output you get out. So here's a framework. I'll give you a framework that I think, and I didn't give you the whole framework, but I'll give it here. There's this ACE framework that I like to use. The A stands for act as a. Did you know that when you prompt something and say act as a marketing professional, act as a civil engineer, act as a will and trust attorney, act as a whatever, you're repositioning that AI to now search in a completely different posture, and it searches its entire world's database completely differently. So when you tell it act as a, you're repositioning it to automatically get a better output. The C, the ACE, the C stands for context. Give it context. Act as this. And here's why I'm asking you to do it. And here's all of the information I can give you. Because guys, if you had Albert Einstein sitting in your office and you were paying him $1,000 an hour, wouldn't you take all the time you could to give him everything you could so he gave you the best output right away? So A, act as a, the C, the context. Describe the problem in its greatest description that you can. And then the E stands for enhance. Tell it what you want it to do. Tell it what you want it to generate, what you want it to create. I want it to be a line graph, a bar graph, spreadsheet. I want it to be a this, a that, or the other thing. So ACE. And after you tell it to act as a, and after you give it context to the problem, and after you give it the enhancement of what you want it to do, you finish it with, and do not hallucinate, and cite your sources. You guys, you laugh. But here's the deal. Your AI, your ChatGPT, your Claude, your Perplexity, it tracks your user behavior. It tracks what you ask, how you ask it. It tracks when you say, this is great, that works, thanks for this. And it begins to learn how to please you. So when you tell it, do not hallucinate and cite your sources, it pulls away from all of its historical knowledge and it begins looking for factual data online. So there's a great way that maybe, no guarantee because I don't run OpenAI, would have gotten you a better result with the definition you were looking for.
Ryan, I'm over 60 years old. So I'm on the wrong side of the AI digital divide. I'm trying really hard, but when you ask who doesn't use AI, I raised my hand. And I've been trying to figure it out, trying to understand it. I even went to an AI boot camp. But what I found at the boot camp, and every time I look at any training thing for AI, it assumes you know AI already. So there was a beginning for course for Copilot or Gemini, I can't remember which one. It was being taught by a Harvard Law School grad that worked for the company, and a Wharton grad. By the way, they're both 32 years old. You know, teaching it. How do we, who are on the wrong side of the digital divide, I mean, I'm guessing more people should have raised their hand than just me.
There was 3 of you.
How do we learn AI when every training course on AI assumes you know AI?
Yeah, it's hard. Whenever you go into a course that's kind of pre-built or predetermined, you're kind of, you know, whatever they have is what you're going to get. I would say in that case, I would look for somebody that you could pay as a consultant to spend an hour or two with you and kind of start from where you're at. I have found the same thing. In fact, even with WSI Global's AI Campus solution, where we teach that stuff, we have something called AI Foundations, which is our entry-level campus. And I think that it's very rudimentary, but I know a lot about AI. So it's hard to judge that. That's kind of a subjective question. But I would say instead of buying a class, I would look for somebody that knows a lot that you can pay to start to bring you along. Sorry, it's probably not the best answer, but it's an honest one.
Okay, so I'm one of the other people who raised their hand, and my concern is confidentiality. You know, if I train AI to do a process for me, is that reporting back to the mothership, and then all my competitors and my customers now know how I'm working because this is now available to anybody else using AI?
If it's not a paid subscription, probably don't share secrets. Most paid subscriptions have privacy policies now where they don't share your information with anybody. But I have a general rule of thumb. If it's private and you wouldn't talk about it with somebody, you probably shouldn't talk about it with ChatGPT, right? So that's the best answer I have there.
I just want to say, I have a 75-year-old sister who she trains the model. So she argues with AI, and she now calls it, I forget, she has a name for it. Well, I just checked with my consultant like Jerry or something. We're looking around and going, who is this Jerry person you're talking about? And I just say what I've seen her do is play. She's not afraid to play, and she's not afraid to try. And so get that childlike wonder back on, which is where we learn when we watch kids, and just don't be afraid and go for it. Press buttons, argue with it. I mean, it changes its mind because she tells it doesn't know what it's talking about.
So that's brilliant. The greatest superpower we all have right now and share in common is experimentation.
Yeah, and my sister is brilliant. So, and I've been so impressed. So if you're feeling that way, which it is scary, it's all scary, and it's all wonderful. So lean into the wonder, and you'll figure out the scary. Because if you lean that way anyway, you'll be leaning back that way soon enough. Could you go back to EEAT? I missed 2 of those.
Yeah, okay. E, expertise. E, experience. A, authoritativeness. And T, trustworthiness. Those are the 4 major characteristics of any body of content or any messaging content that AI and Google alike use to pull their search data from.
Thank you.
So that means as you're writing blogs, you know, it used to be things like, and here's just a real life adaptation, guys. It used to be things like 7 tips to why you should, or what questions you should ask a will or trust attorney when looking to hire one. Like that used to be the kind of blogs that people would write. And those are great, but now the right way to do content would be to go to something like ChatGPT or Claude and say, I want to write an article that's something like 7 questions I should ask about what I should ask a will and trust attorney when looking to hire one, but I don't know what 7 questions people are actually asking. Can you report back to me on what questions people are actually asking right now that's relevant? And it'll tell you what questions people are actually asking that's relevant. And then I would think to myself, how am I going to flex my experience in answering these questions, my expertise in how I'm the decided source, the authority to be answering these questions. How am I going to build trust in this article? Who am I going to quote? What review or testimonial am I going to put in there from a third-party place or person saying that I am who I say I am? And how am I going to create the authority to be that person? So when you write content and adapt your content, whether it's a blog or a web page or a service page, or whether you're using messaging on social media, when you flex your experience, your expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, you have a far better chance of being found online.
And then my real question, sorry Ryan, is...
That wasn't your real question?
No, that was, my first one was just a comment. How do you use the transcript tool effectively in a meeting to not squash innovation? We all know when we're being recorded, it changes it, and with confidential information.
Well, first of all, I tell everybody at my conference table, so I use fireflies.ai. That is the tool that I prefer to use. I've attached it to my Zoom meeting interface. So my Fireflies comes in as my note taker to every virtual meeting I'm in. And then when I'm sitting at a conference room table, or if I'm sitting in a client's office space, I'll oftentimes pull out my phone and say, I'd like to record our conversation for posterity. I'd like to have a transcript from it so that I can ask it anything I need in the future and so that I don't miss anything. And so that we can both be fully present in the meeting. And I will oftentimes, how do you knock down walls? This is going to be a private conversation. I won't share your transcript with anybody else, but it's going to be from my own personal note-taking. And that I've never had anybody argue with me about it. Oh, actually, I take that back. I had one lady that thought it was kind of creepy, and I said, I don't have to record. She was like, oh, no, it's fine. So I still did.
In board meetings for companies or that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, same kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, same kind of thing. You have to be comfortable with it to let it happen, but I find that the positive outcome from it is enormous. Yeah, and these days, if somebody were to say, no, I'd really rather you not, I'd be like, oh my God, how do I take notes again? That's how long it's been. It's been a couple of years.
Ryan, are we ever going to get to a point where someone, let's say, and you see it in the college, in the college environment, you see it in other professional competitive environments, where you're asked to submit something from a resume to a term paper to a this to a that, and I fully believe that AI can and is, at least in my case, a really good research tool. But when they use AI in a submission, it's noted somewhere. I mean, they had the professor back in Harvard who wrote a program that went back in, using AI, went back in into everybody's submissions and found out 47% of them didn't even write their own paper. AI wrote it for them. You know, whatever your position, whatever position you're in, and you've got to make decisions, it's not a very comfortable environment. You know, knowing full well, did that person really tell you the truth? Did they even think about it? You know, where's the credibility here, etc.? Is that whole logic evolving as AI is evolving?
It's interesting. So
I guess it's responsibility. You know what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, it's a whole reprogramming of the educational institution. And when you look at professors and teachers and educators in the way that they have kind of perceived education in the past, it was not to teach us how to learn, but to teach us information. And what I see happening now in the educational arena is that it is a very slow adoption, because it's a reprogramming of posture, of mind, of belief, and your belief structure. But it's heartbreaking to me when I hear my daughter is not allowed to use AI, and my son is not allowed to use AI in his college classes. And the reason is that is the future. That is the future. Teaching our students how to use AI and effectively use AI and be proficient in AI is going to be what moves us forward. I don't think, it's kind of like the car's already out of the garage and the kid's already got the keys. So teach the kid how to drive instead of making them hide that they're driving. I also think that every professor I've ever talked to uses AI like crazy. So the idea that they don't want their students to confuses me. So it's a reprogramming, it's gonna happen. You know, you're seeing a lot of educational courses now starting to be offered on how AI works and teaching AI and fundamentals and things like that. But I suspect in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see an educational system restructuring where hopefully we'll see educators teaching to learn instead of teaching information.
Hey Ryan, before we close it out, can you give us the top 3 to 5 tools that everyone should be looking into today when they leave? You mentioned Firefly.
Yeah, so I'll mention fireflies.ai, that's my favorite one. I would say experiment with ChatGPT. Like I had a client come to me not long ago, well now it's been like 7 or 8 months, and he wrote a book and said, Ryan, will you read this book for me and give me a comment? And I said, no, I won't read your book, it's a lot of book to read. But if you send me a digital copy of it, I will have AI read it for me, summarize your chapters in 500 words or less paragraphs and give you a comment on that. And that's exactly what I did. I read his book in about an hour. So ChatGPT, experiment with it, play with it, try to let it solve some of your problems. And then the last one is very kind of, it's broad. What is an enterprise software that you're currently using that offers an AI solution within it that you've been scared to say yes to, or scared to pay for, or scared to understand? Is it your point of sale system? Is it your CRM system? Is it your search data analysis system? What is it? Is it your inventory management system? Is it your scheduling system? Is it your Bamboo HR system? What system, what in your tech stack is somewhere that already says, we figured this out to make your life better, but you've been adverse to trying it? I think that would be the best answer. That's where you're probably gonna find the biggest impact, the fastest within your organization. Thank you.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Great job, Ryan. You know, and Ryan doesn't do enough, I don't think, you know, we are business organizations here. He doesn't do enough to, I think, promote his company to all of us. So, great job. I'm sure he's willing to take on new clients. And on top of that, the AI on the fly, is that a podcast? What's that?
So you can find it on YouTube or Ryan Kelly WSI on any social.
Okay, and you're going to give that information to Ty, so when she sends out this stuff, we'll get all of that. So definitely something I want to take advantage of. So, although I'm going to be retired, so. But thank you all for being here. You know what? AI cannot change. It cannot change. It cannot provide the networking that we get here every month. So if you're enjoying our programs and you love what we do here and you love each other, I just want to encourage you that beyond coming to our monthly meetings, please, if you're not a member, or if you're a member who maybe needs to increase to a higher level, please look at the membership opportunities here, because it really is how we function. It's how we have great programs like Ryan. So thank you all. Our next meeting is on April Fool's Day. I'm gonna have to ponder what we're gonna do for that. But anyway, April 1st, Ty will be sending out an announcement of what the speaker's about in the next couple weeks. But thank you all for being here. Ryan, you made the sunshine with all your enthusiasm.